I am here as a Polish patriot and Catholic to say that being Polish, I am not a xenophobe. Being a patriot, I am no racist, nor anti-Semite. I am here to reject an image of Polish anti-Semite and racist. We can be patriots, but we need not deny the truth about Holocaust and the Jewish experience.
Hi, my name is Rafal Betlejewski. I'm a Polish artist and journalist. I was born here in Poland in 1969. Just 1 year after a handful of Polish Jews surviving Holocaust were met with anti-Semitic propaganda, and many of them were forced to leave the country.
I was raised in a Polish school, by a Polish family, Polish church, Polish TV and literature. And I was unaware of the Jewish story and the Holocaust. Just another Polish ignorant, proud of his nation's bravery in the war. And I was right to be. We were brave in the war, but not only. In the year 2000, Jan Tomasz Gross has published a book titled Neighbors, and suddenly we were faced with a different and uncomfortable narrative. Poles took an active role in eliminating Jews during the Holocaust. In 1941, Poles flocked their neighbors into a barn and killed them by fire. It wasn't a message that would go down easy. Generally, Poles fiercely rejected this revelation and protested its author, calling him a traitor, a paid agent, incompetent writer. But I was intrigued, and I took to the books.
I read and read and read, and I was stunned. I was discovering a civilization, a lost civilization like Atlantis. People with different culture, different religion, different tradition, living here, around me, yet invisible.
In 2009, I went to Israel for the first time, only to discover a strong feeling of familiarity. There is something in the air, in the food, in the way people are, what they say, that is very, very familiar for a Polish person. It was only when I went to Yad Vashem and saw that it is almost all about Poland, city by city, from Warsaw to Białystok, when I realized what it is. We are like Siamese twins, separated by a horrific event some 70 years ago.
In 2009, in a cafe in Israel, I wrote on the wall these words: I miss you, Jew. I miss you in Poland. In all these little villages and big cities, you left a vacuum there, both in space and my heart. I just wanted you to know that, Paul.
And then I went on, painting these murals in small villages and big cities. I miss you, Jew. With me, I carried a chair. I placed a keeper on it and sat beside it for a silent conversation with the people who perished. My project was met both with love, but also with opposition. I started getting death threats. I was called names, spat on, and ridiculed. Why, I asked myself, why is the reaction so aggressive?
The guilt of the fathers do not stain the sons, as long as the sons don't deny them.
On June 10th, 2011, I placed a wooden barn on a field somewhere in the middle of Poland. I walked into it, closed the door, and set it on fire. No, I didn't die. I had an escape route. But I did see the horror of a burning barn with my own eyes, and I felt it on my skin. Symbolically, I burned the Polish ignorant in that barn. I hoped forever.
Personally, I was ready to face the Jewish narrative, the Jewish story. I talked to many Holocaust survivors. Here is the voice of Baruch Bergman, a wonderful elderly man from USA who speaks in a perfect Polish and was a ghetto survivor.
We decided to escape from the ghetto. The Polish society was in a state of insanity. The hate towards Jews was so immense and spread that it was impossible to describe. Imagine, my friends who didn't know I was a Jew, instead of saying good day to greet one another, would say, these fucking Jews. In Germany, the Germans had a special camp for Polish POV, and they put my brother there.
3 dni przed końcem wojny.
3 days before the end of the war, his Polish friends forced him to take his pants down
I zaczęli krzyczeć, ty kurwa twoja w dupę.
and ran to the Germans shouting, we have a fucking Jew among us.
Do komendanta.
And the Germans said, knowing that the war is over,
Bo 3 dni przed końcem
if you touch him, I will have you executed.
Jak jemu się coś stanie, to ja was zastrzelę.
Let's face it, most of the Polish society is just not ready nor willing to accept this harsh narrative.
Years of nationalistic propaganda praising Polish war heroes is not going to dissolve easily. The guilt has changed into denial, and denial into aggression. All the time I hear someone say, get the fuck out of this country, go live in Israel, if you love those Jews so much. Not many of us are willing to listen to Jewish victims. It is much easier to blame them for their own fate.
It will take years to change this situation, but I think there is hope.
There are Polish historians and sociologists who carry out detailed studies about Polish involvement in the Holocaust. There are hundreds of Jewish festivals in many Polish cities, and young Polish Jews may feel safe to publicly announce their heritage.
And there are people like me who miss the Polish Jews as an important part of our history. Thank you for listening. God bless.